Hi baking buddies, I'm Jenn Johns. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make two different types of candy apples. Now the first way I'm going to be showing you is more of a traditional way when we're going to use sugar and we're going to dip them into it. But to make it a little bit more interesting, we're going to be using tons of color. So what I've got here is a beautiful black one. I've got a beautiful blue and a nice light purple. And in the video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the pink one. Now you can use any gel paste color to make any color of the rainbow that you want to with this technique. Now my second technique I'm going to be showing you is how to make Jolly Rancher covered candy apples. They're amazing. And on top they've got rock candy and they're filled with glitter as well. So what I've got here is the purple one, the grape flavor. I've got the red and it's like the watermelon and the cherry colors you can find. And then I'm going to be showing you the blue raspberry in the video. And you can use any of the Jolly Rancher flavors. Let's get started on this tutorial. To make our candy coated apples, we're going to be using 1 cup of water. We need half a cup of light corn syrup. You can use regular colored corn syrup if you only have that, but it does add a little yellow tinge. We're going to need nice red juicy apples. I like red better just simply for the coating and the coloring. Now we're also going to be using some rock candy to kind of decorate the apple, and you can also use sprinkles to decorate the apple. If you're going to use a different color of candy coating, change up the color of these. We're going to need some apple candy sticks, and we're going to need 3 cups of granulated sugar. And then for our coloring, we're going to be using some white coloring, and then like I said, pink, but it can be any color you want. So the first thing we want to do is prep our apples. So make sure your apple is washed and cleaned and completely dry. And then you're going to take your apple stick and you're just going to insert it right where the stem is, right directly down into the apple, just like that. So you want to repeat that for all of your apples. So I have my sugar placed in a pan here, and I'm going to turn my element up to medium high. I want it to be quite warm, and I'm going to put the water into the pot as well, and into there, and then also the corn syrup. And then I'm going to let it heat up until it is around 300 degrees, or about between 250 and 300 Fahrenheit. Once your sugar mixture has come to temperature, what we're going to do is squeeze in some of that white coloring. Sometimes it does kind of like bubble up, so just be careful. And we're just going to stir it gently. There's the bubbling happening. And so you want to be careful. You don't want to overstir because you want to do your best that you can in order to try to avoid as many bubbles as you can. There will be bubbles, at least I found it extremely difficult to get rid of them all. So once you've got that white color mixed in, and I'm wanting to work fairly quickly here. I don't want to I don't want the temperature of the candy to cool very much. So it's bubbling again. If you want a flavor added in at this point, that you could do that. Any candy oil or like a traditional flavor would be cinnamon, that sort of thing. So I'm just mixing in the pink coloring in here. So again, it's just a beautiful, nice, bright pink we've got going on here. Stirring that in. So the temperature of the candy is dropping. As soon as you take it from the heat, it does start to drop. I heated it to 250 Fahrenheit, and that's going to give a tiny bit of a more chewy, rather than like one of those crack your teeth hard ones. So once I've got it mixed in, I'm just going to take my pot and I'm going to turn it on an angle like that. And then with my apple, I'm going to place my apple inside, and I'm just going to roll it inside the candy. And I'm just going to coat the apple completely. Then you see I've got a piece of silicone mat here down, and I'm just going to take it off, let it drip off a little bit, and then place it onto the silicone mat to cool and harden completely. Once your apples have cooled completely and the candy is hardened, you'll know that they're ready because you'll be able to lift them up off your parchment or your silicone mat without them sticking. That's kind of the indicator. So now I'm just going to take some piping gel. If you don't have piping gel, you could also use corn syrup for this, and you had corn syrup in the recipe, so you might have that on hand. So I'm just painting over the stem here. I did find, or around the stem, I did find that if the candy completely filled in the hole and touched the stem, I found that it kind of started to bubble from there. So I would try to leave a little bit of space around the stem if you can. Sometimes you can't control what that candy is doing, and it's so hot that you have to be super careful and work fast too. So I'm just getting these little sprinkles added on here, and then I'm going to repeat the exact same thing for the rock candy around this one, and just take that piping gel again, or you can take the corn syrup. It's nice and sticky. The corn syrup is a little bit runnier, so it doesn't work so well with rock candy, but it does work fine with the little sprinkles. And again, just pile on some rock candy in here. To make the Jolly Rancher candy apples, we're going to be using Jolly Ranchers. You want them separated by color. Here I have 50 blue raspberry ones pulled out. You can use about 50 of them, gives about 3 apples in total. It will coat about 3 apples. So we're also going to be using some rock candy, or you could use sprinkles or more edible glitter. And we're going to be putting edible glitter inside the Jolly Rancher mixture as well. I've got a recipe for the edible glitter in the description box for you. We're going to be using apple sticks, and then of course we need some apples. So I have my 50 Jolly Ranchers unwrapped and placed into a cake pan. You can also use whatever kind of like oven-proof bowl that it will be safe to put the Jolly Ranchers into. I'm going to put them into a 350-degree preheated oven for 15 minutes. While the candy is melting in the oven, you can prep your apples, wash and clean them, and remove as much of the stem as you can, and then insert the apple stick into the top, right straight down. After about 15 minutes, you can take the pan out of the oven, and then you want to sprinkle the glitter on top. Doesn't matter what order you do it. And I just went with glitter that's of a similar like shade to this one, and then obviously minus the gold and the silver. And then with a oven mitt on, I'm going to stir that in. And once I've got it stirred in and incorporated, I'm going to pop it back into the oven for about 5 more minutes. Once you've re-softened or re-liquefied your candy, you can pick it up with a mitt, and then I'm just turning it on its side here, letting it kind of gather there. And then I'm going to twirl the apple into that like that. Perfect. This is a little bit thicker than the other one was with just the regular candy mixture, but this comes out really, really cool. So I'm going to just twirl this and then set it onto either a parchment paper or a silicone mat, and you can let that harden completely. Once the Jolly Rancher is cooled, you can take some piping gel and place the piping gel over top of the edge there, and then all over where the apple is exposed. And this is just, you're using this for just like a glue instead of it being, it's just an edible glue here. Basically, it's going to help the rock candy stick to it. And you can use edible glitter, you can use sprinkles, you could use whatever sorts of little thing up there. You don't have to use anything at all. It just kind of seals it up, and I think it adds a little nice touch to it. So there you go, baking buddies, how to make 2 different ways to make candy apples. Now I changed up the sticks a bit just to add like a little bit more excitement, because like Jolly Rancher glitter is not enough. So over here on my black one, what I did was I just used a straw, a paper straw, and I put it over top of the apple stick, and it worked perfectly, and it goes so well with the black. And then the blue one here, I've just got the regular one so you guys can see the contrast. And then here, I went to my mother-in-law's apple tree and I cut some of the branches, and I've used those as the stick for these apples. So it's totally up to you, definitely not something you have to do, but it kind of makes it a cooler presentation. Let me know in the comments which type of the candy apple you think you would like the best, and I will see you guys all again next time. Bye.